So today we're going to be talking about foolproof methods to building 10 models in one. How can you build 10 models in one? We're going to share foolproof methods for you on how you can do that.
What are we doing today? Certification as a financial modeler, we take a look at that, and we have this our financial modeling institute that kind of certified uh, financial modeler. Financial modeling is now a skill. Yes, it's in fact not just a skill, it's a profession on its own. And whatsoever thing you know how to do, definitely you need a certification body, more like independent body. The accountants, we have our ICANN, ACCA, um, cost management, we have the CIMA, the lawyers have their own finance analysts, we have our CFA. So we talk about understanding model build, how to think like a modeler. It's not about just building model. Financial modeling has gone beyond you just putting value in Excel and leave it out for your users or your clients to be dealing with that. And based on that, definitely when you build a model, there are some line items that you really cannot be accurate. Don't forget, financial modeling is more like a representation of the future, not future itself. So definitely we cannot be accurate, and as such, we need to be able to incorporate some scenarios into our model. Now, people are used to building only scenarios, and scenario is kind of limited. But have you heard about scenario sensitivity? Putting those two together, that's what we will take a look at today. And then we have our demo. So let's get into it. Certification as a financial modeler. Thanks to Financial Modeling Institute, and they are more like independent body. So you can go and do your training anywhere. So we are also one of the approved trainer. You can also access some of our courses on Office Training Up. So go and do the training. We also have a course, step-by-step guide to passing the exam. We took a case study. It's very, very practical. They will give you 4 hours. Sit down, build a model from scratch, blank Excel, up to the highest standard within 4 hours. Normally, that model is supposed to take someone like 8 hours, but they give you 4 hours. So you need a lot of techniques, which is what we have on our learning platform. So they have 3 stages: AFM, CFM, MFM. AFM, one good thing about this is all the certification, they are independent of each other. AFM, Advanced Financial Modeler. Yes, you want to do basic 3 financial statement modeling, you are good with that. CFM, which is Chartered Financial Modeler, that one is more advanced. So you are going into project finance, problem solving. Then Master Financial Modeler, right? Or that's more like you go into statistical modeling, project finance, and all that kind of a thing. Now we have a mock exam coming up. Part of what we usually do to help people and passing the exam is we usually have what we call AFM mock exam and revision. In fact, even if you are not writing the exam, you just want to test your modeling skill, you can also attend this. So it's not necessary if you not until when you are writing this exam. Exam is coming up next 2 weeks, but even if you don't want to write this current exam and you have planned, okay, let me even see what this modeling, how the exam kind of looks like, you can definitely register for this. And you have 2 options. We have the one we call Proctor Live mock session. That one is we have limited space. You attend. So you attend that, and which will be more like a live session from 2 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. That will be coming up on Saturday, 16th of July. Then the second one, which is more like a self-directed, we give you 24 hours, take the case study, solve it, and send it back to us. Now let's get to what we are doing today. Thinking like a financial modeler. As I said, it has gone beyond you just putting values in Excel and leave your users or your manager to be sorting things out. I built a model. I think the model took like a month to build the model, looking fine, everything incorporated. And we took the model out for presentation, and they only asked one question, and the model was unable to provide that answer. 16 is Friday. Oh, that should be 17. Saturday. Just put your mind on Saturday. Yes. So the model was unable to answer the question. And that's one funny thing about model. Every model you build must have objective. You don't just jump into building a model. You don't just jump into Excel. That's why what we call build a back of the envelope model. You quickly ask, okay, this model I want to build, what's the objective? What are the key driver? What is the story behind this model? It's not about just putting numbers. The model should be able to answer. So you think from your output. Oh, I need a return on investment. That's the whole thing this objective, this model is trying to get. And you are asking, what can drive the company performance? What do I need to get my return on investment? What can affect this return on investment to increase or decrease? And irrespective of the model you are building, you must always know that you need just three things. First one, inputs, where you have your drivers or your hard-coded value, things that you change and will affect the model. We have them. The second one is your calculation, which is more like the engine room, where you do all your jargons, or your, okay, don't let's call it jargons, where you do all your schedules, right? All your calculations. And now the calculation worksheet is more like the engine room because it connects to your input and it then feeds out to your output. Now, your output now determine the kind of model you are building. For the financial model, definitely that will be your three financial statements: profit or loss accounts, balance sheet, and your cash flow. So as a modeler, understand what back of the envelope, draw it out first, understand the key drivers. In doing that, in getting your drivers, definitely there are some line items you really cannot be certain. Number one, inflation is one of it. You definitely cannot be certain what the inflation will be tomorrow because there are a lot of risk around it. In fact, all businesses are all being exposed to different risk. And as a modeler, there's a way you should be able to factor in that risk into your model. You are saying, oh, this is my business. I'm selling this product. If I even take this product to the market, what will happen? What if something happens in the market? People decide not to buy my products. What will happen to the business profitability stand? What if there's a change in government policy? How will that affect? We know one or two businesses that started a while ago, and government policy just came in and said, you know what, we don't want this. How do you factor all those kind of things into your model? And that's what we'll be doing today. So we'll be more focused on the practical aspect of it. So let me share my Excel file with us so that we jump straight into it. So you also have this as well. This will be shared with us. Yes, so you can use this and then watch the recording video, which will be shared with everyone. So this is just a simple startup model. It's more if you are also writing the exam, these are the kind of model they will ask you to build. So let me open this up. Here we have our model guide, model sales styles, description, model information, right? And then I have my summary. So nothing, you have nothing here. We have our input. Let me also open this up. We have our general macroeconomic assumption, funding, and use of your funds, your revenues, and your cost inputs, your operational expenses. Then we have our scenario, which is where we'll be working. So here, calculation worksheet, where we have all our schedules being built. Then profit or loss account, you have everything here as well. Balance sheets, everything working fine. Cash flow, everything is fine now. And we have our just short analysis, margin analysis. Now, everything is looking fine. And the focus will be more on profit or loss accounts for what we'll be doing today. We forecasted this, our revenue and everything. But we are looking into the future. We really cannot be certain. So the common scenario that people usually know is, oh, create base scenario, best case scenario. And in fact, before we even do that, let's take a pause and ask, what are the things driving this business profitability? Let's assume maybe at the end, we want to check what will be our return on investment. Okay, it has not been calculated yet. That's what we want to see. And on different scenarios. Now let me go to my guide and let's come under this, my glossary. And let's kind of list out some of the risk that business can be exposed to. Definitely inflation. So let's create some cases first. Well, so the normal cases we used to know. So we need 10 cases. So let's say these are best case. Then let's have our conservative, which are more like the normal one that we know. Conservative case. Then we also have our what? Let's say we have our best case. And we have our worst case. Thank you for that. I'm getting our submission. I love that. So let's number this. We said we need 10 different. So let me put this. So we need 10 different scenario. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, great. So we said, so let me look at what we've mentioned. Let's even say we have management case. Management want their own case, part of what we are mentioning. So I think some of them can come under what we call our economy. Let's have our economy case. Also, we can have market case as well. Which other one? So thank you. Government, definitely. Government case. So forex, interest rates, let's just put those ones under our risk case. And which other one? Some policy. I mean, that's still called under government, but let's call this policy case. Yes, so it's just a sample case. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use our name range. So I will highlight this, come to my name box here, and let's call this our S under list. S under list. So for me to remember that name, let me come under this my scenario and type it there, S under list. So you know the reason why we need that. So we've created these cases here. We need base, conservative, best case, worst case. Then let's look at some other, in fact, production capacity. I love that. I think that should come under some market of a thing. So just for you to have more like understanding. In fact, you can even, okay, so let me change this to, we call this more like worst. Yes, not worst. Okay, worst case. Okay, great. Thank you for that. So here we have this and we've renamed this. And I want to go ahead and use it to create a scenario. So, but before I do that, let me come straight to my Excel. To this our scenario and sensitivity worksheet. So I need 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's, let me limit it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I come here equal to transpose. That's our scenario that we've created. I'll just press my F3. Then I'll select. Okay, it looks like we have some other naming range in this file. So let me type it out. S underscore yes list. So this is what I want. Let me click it, close my bracket and press my Ctrl Shift Enter. So let me adjust everything so that it kind of looks good. Okay, this is too much. So let me wrap it. Wrap the text. Then let's reduce it a little bit so that we have everything in shape. Just trying to make this make sense. Okay, great. So let me make this fine. Great. So let me adjust so that everything is looking fine. You can see everything conservative. In fact, let me centralize it. Let me centralize it. So these are more like Excel things. So everything is looking fine. You can see everything. Yes. Let me also put it up here. Okay, perfect. So let me share this. Let me share this so that it looks good. You know, that kind of designer. Just making things look nice. All right. Here we have this. Now, that's one. We've created our cases and I've transposed it so that it kind of looks like this. The next thing is, let me go straight to my model. What are the things that are really driving this model? I'll come straight to my input. One of it is inflation. It has effects on costs. Anything related to costs. For my revenue, compound annual growth rate, which kind of affects how we increase our production unit that we sell. So let's even work with these two. So if you are building your own model, you can have multiple. So let me come straight here and let me call this. The first one is our what? Our inflation growth. The other one. So let me zoom this out for us very well. Okay. The other one is what we call our what? Let's say our quantity growth. Now, one good thing about sensitivity scenario is this. I can come to my output and even sensitize my output. So let me take a look at this. Definitely, I want to create scenario around different inflation, different cost, different quantity growth. But what if we decide to even sensitize this revenue? Like, oh, everything we forecasted here. What if something happened and everything dropped by 10%? What will be the effect on our profitability? So I need to take some of those line items. So I'll come here. Number one, we can have our revenue. Let's have our cost of sales. Right? We can also have our SG&A, selling general and admin expenses. Now let's take a look at another one. EBITDA. Okay, let's leave EBITDA alone. Let's leave EBITDA. EBITDA is fine. Now, this is forecast. When it comes to reality of it, companies and organizations usually have some other expenses which cannot be forecasted, or we really cannot be accurate. Between your EBITDA line item and your profit before tax, there are some funny line items that can come in, whether it's startup or mature company, corporate organization. So why, let's try and even sensitize that as well and say, what if something, we have some other funny line item here and every other thing being equal, right? Our profit before tax fall by, let's say, 10%. What effect will that have on our return on investment? So let me bring that in here. Let me bring that here as well. And let's call this our profits before tax. Now let's create different scenarios. So let me put this in our input sales star. And let me put this in our input sales start, and I would like everything to be in percentage. In fact, that percentage, let me format the percentage. Remember, you always have access to this our recording, so that you can always use this. So let me format the way I want it to appear. So let's even say this is our inflation rate that we have. This is more like our base. So let's maintain our base to have the way we have it in our model. Right, the way we have it. Then on the conservative, let's look at different scenario that we can incorporate into this. So because of our time, let me just copy the assumption here, and we take a look at it together. Yes. Okay. So I think I've missed this out, so let me adjust that. Right. So these are different scenarios that I want to take a look at. And what is this? Remember, you can always adjust this. Conservative, you are saying, okay, everything being equal. What if our inflation is reduced by 0.5%? Quantity growth, what if it's increased by 2%? Revenue, what if we increase our revenue by 2.5%? Cost of sale, what if it's reduced by 0.5%? SG&A, what if we increase our cost by 1%? Let's even keep our profit before tax the way it is. On the best case, what if our inflation reduced by 0.25? Quantity, what if we increase our quantity by 5%? Revenue, increase our revenue by 5%. Cost of sales, we reduce our cost by 0.025. SG&A by 0.2%. Profits before tax, let's even say we increase it. Maybe we kind of generate some other income. Right? Worst case, inflation increased is a cost. That means that we increase our cost. Our quantity growth fall. Revenue reduced. Cost of sales increased. SG&A increased, and our profit before tax also fall by 5%. So we've created that different cases. What if something happened? What is the risk case? Oh, inflation will increase. Quantity will fall. Revenue will fall. Our cost will increase. Our SG&A will increase. Our profit before tax also will reduce. Something can happen. So that is this. So we have different scenarios. Now, how do we now feed this into our model? That's the next thing. So I'll create one where we incorporate that, and I will now create another one which we can see all the 10 results at once. So let's get started. Here, let me type base here. In fact, let me create one. Let me add additional one. Okay, let me create one. Wrap that place. So let me create one column here. And here, let me type my base. Let me type base case. Let me type base case here. Base case. So I have a base case here. And I'll come straight to my input, which is where I'm going to do the magic. And here, I'm going to use our match function. Kind of pick the number. Right? So this is more like number 1. This is number 2, 3, up to 10. Now come here, I'll type my equal to match. So, but before I do that, let me type, okay, equal to, yes, let's do it this way. Match, what are we looking for? Come to my scenario. Should look for this base case that we typed here, comma, What is the lookup array? Remember, we created our scenario list, which we call our S underscore list. Okay, so let me do that again. Equal to match. What do we want to look for? We want to look for this base case that we compute here, comma, look for it where? My F3, which is to click, let's call that our S list. Call that our S underscore list. And comma, it should give us what? I think I will need exact match. Close it and press enter. So it will return 1. If I type base case, if I change this to my best case, it will return what? If I come here, it will return 3 for me. So let me put that back to what we had earlier. So which is our base case. Now I'm now going to rename this and call it my what? My scenario switch. S switch. So to remember the name, let me also type it here. So in fact, let me create one additional row here. So S underscore switch. Let me create that so we remember the name. Now that I've created this, the next thing is this. It is easy for someone to delete this. If someone delete this, it just kind of mess up my what I've created here. So I don't want that to happen. So which means I need to create, and I don't want my users to come here and be typing base case, conservative case. So which means I need to restrict them and have a button that they can always use as option to select from. Right? So I'll come straight to my developer. But before I even do that, yes, let's take it slow. Let's take it slow. So here, what I want here is whenever it is best case, it should give me all the options that we've created here. And to do that, I'll come here, type my equal to. So let me kind of clear this format. So equal to index, and this is my array, comma, and what is our column? What is our row number? We really don't need row. I'll put a comma. We need column, and what is our column? That is our S underscore switch that we created. S underscore switch. Select underscore switch and close my bracket and press enter. So let me put this in our percentage format. I'll put this in our percentage format that we want to use. Okay, great. So I can even drag this down. So now let's go ahead and let's restrict our users so that they can select all these cases without them typing here. I'll go to my developer. Right, so we have inserts. Under inserts, we have form control, active control. So we usually use active control when you are building VBA. But for this one, we need our form control combo box. And I'll create the combo box here. Let me put it here. Yes, we're still going to adjust it. And then I will right click very fast. Format control. And what is he asking for? He's asking for our input range. And what's our input range? So see the reason why we did the naming, right? So S list, our cell link, that will be what? Our S underscore switch. So the name must be the same, right? So we need drop down lines, which means more like the number of options they see at once. I put that as 10 and click on my okay. Now this kind of spill out because of what? I've taken the control of this guy and I've given it to this button. So I need to click on this button and select my case. So if I select base, you see, you select conservative, it's automatically change. You select best case, it changes. So let me copy this and let me put it here in my summary worksheet. But let me put it here for now. Let me put it up here for now. So this guy, let me cut it and let me put it up here. I really don't need it, so I can press my Control 1, and I don't want that to show. So I can delete everything here and put my 3 semicolon. Click on OK, so they don't see that. Formatting does not change what is in a cell. It only changes what you see. And what you see might not be what is in a cell. This is looking blank, but if you check your formula bar, you see that 3 is showing there. Go straight to my scenarios. This base is not, they really don't need this. So I can also do the same thing. Control 1, clear everything, and put my 3 semicolon and click on my OK. So we have that. Now that we've created this, the next thing is to feed this into our model. Let me write base case. So beside our inflation growth factor, I'll come straight to my input. This is what is feeding my model. So what I'm going to do now is I'll copy this, paste it here. Remember, this is the column that is reading, this is the row that is feeding our model. So I will delete this, but let me clear this format. Come here, I'll type my equal to, then I will link that to the sensitivity that we've created here, right? Can even lock it, press enter. So I want this to be in percentage. So let me format it so that it's in that same percentage that we want. Okay, so this should not be the area of focus. So I would like to just reduce the font so that this should not be the area of focus. At times you can even hide it, but it's not good to be hiding anything you are building in your model. Should be transparent. And what am I doing? This base inflation plus this sensitivity that we've created here, I will reference that, enter, I will drag to the right, press my Control R. Okay, so let me put that in percentage format. Let's put that in a percentage. So we have this. Which other line are we sensitizing? Our compound annual growth rate. So this, I can also copy this, put it up here. So I can even copy this format here so that I don't need to do that 2 times. Paste it here, delete it. Then let me copy this format that I've created here for our compound annual growth rate. And I'll type equal to, link that to my what? Scenario for quantity, enter. Then I'll put the formula equal to the base revenue growth that we've forecasted here. Okay, so I don't need to log that. Let's leave that. Then plus our this growth. Then I will need to keep the column constant. Enter. To the right, press my Control R. Other thing, we need to sensitize our revenue. Then I'll go to my profit or loss account. Let me delete this. This one should not distract us for now. Then let's even link it down here. Let me put it under this column. Revenue. Put that here. This is what we want. Enter. I can even go ahead to my input, copy this format. I don't need to do that twice. Then come here to my profit or loss accounts and let me paste that format here. I'm going to reduce the font. Yes. So let me copy the format, paste it here, equal to, link that to our what? To my of sales. Enter. I also copy that format, come to my SG&A, type equal to, go straight to my sensitivity, SG&A, press enter. Then we set our profit before tax, all right, which is this. So we are saying some funny line item can come in between our EBITDA and profit before tax that can make this profit before tax to either be lower or higher. Right, so this I'll just type my equal to and link that here, profits before tax, and press enter. Okay, all right. So so I think let's bring this out so that they kind of understand. So this is a little bit to this. Okay, so this is fine. Yes. So I was copying it. I was not cutting it. So please take note of that. It's because I wanted to retain the format. Yes, that's why I was doing it like that. So here we have it, and let me feed that into our model. The calculation we had here previously, let me open a bracket. Let me put this in a bracket, then multiply by, open a bracket, 1 plus this, our what? Our sensitivity growth that we've linked here. I like to the right, press my Control R. The same thing for our cost of sales. Then put this in a bracket. Multiply by, open my bracket, 1 plus the what? This growth that we've created here. To sensitize this, enter, to the right, Control R. For our SG&A, I'll do the same thing and put this in a bracket. Multiply by, open the bracket, 1 plus what? Plus our sensitivity line item here. Press enter. In fact, you can even you can decide for your model to be transparent. You can change the headings to sensitize percentage so that they kind of understand what all these percentage are doing here. Yes, remember your model must be transparent. And this as well, let's leave what the calculation is as it is, then multiply by 1 what plus this our growth that we've created here. The bracket, and press enter. To the right, press my Control R. Now we fill this into our model. Now let's build our summary worksheet so that we see how that kind of effect the effect this has on our model. So we need our revenue. Let's even say we need our growth as well. Then we need our EBITDA. And then we need our so we need our margin here. And then we need our what? Which other one? We need our net profit, which is more like profit for the period. let's have margin here as well. Okay, so what are the things I needed? Let me reduce this a little bit. Let me reduce this a little bit. But let me reduce that front. So let me link that to our revenue that we have in our profit or loss account. Is our revenue. Enter. Right, Control R. I need my EBITDA equal to go straight to my profit or loss account. Select my EBITDA as well. My net profit equal to go straight to my profit or loss account and select our net profit for that period. I need the growth equal to, let me use if error, right? This current year divided by previous year minus 1. If not, 0. Close the brackets. To the right, Control R, we put that in percentage. Let me capitalize that one. The margin will be equal to what? Our EBITDA divided by our revenue. So please, if you're also writing the exam, yes, these are part of things you might need to do. Yes. So I can even copy this format, paste it here, then delete it, type equal to my net profit divided by my revenue. So but let's reduce this so that it kind of make that difference. Let me change the color, then I can copy this, copy the format, it's here as well. Now, let's see. By the time we click on our conservative, what happens to our revenue? So to even see that, we can decide to add more like a trend. So let me change this to, let's look at the trend. And this to our trend. So let's create one trend here. Let me highlight everything. Then I'll use a shortcut, but NSL. And where do I want those trends to be? I want to create a trend line. Click on my OK. So you can see the trend. So if let me try and make this a little bit wider. Okay, great. So we'll collapse this. We'll collapse this, guys. I'm just trying to make everything look good. Yes. So that they are not looking too far from each other. So with this now, you can check almost all the scenarios and see what the effect will be on revenue and your profitability, right? So risk case, you can check that. A government case, you see that. Your market, you see that as well. Your economic, you see all those options. You see how they are working out. So this is what we call what? Scenario and sensitivity of your model. Now, this one, you really have to be switching everything at once. But can we try and do one magic? What if you have everything in one? You can see everything at a go. Do you guys believe we can see that? Right. So let's create that. Let's create that. Let's call this our. Let's see that. Let's call this our line item. But you can even use pivot table so that you can view everything. Right. So we have our revenue. Revenue. We need 5. We need 5 revenue for 5 years. Right. Then we also need our what? So let me zoom this so we focus on this. Then we need our EBITDA. So you can use any line item as much as you want, but for this our own, let's use this. Then we need our net profit. So I can copy this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's right. So I need my active. Okay. So this is our live. This is our live scenario. Live scenario. What am I going to do? Then I will go ahead and copy those values. Okay. Before you even have these values, think let's have our years here. So here, let me type equal to. That's our period. Period. So equal to. Let me select this, lock it, put it in this format, then equal to this plus 1. So I can drag down. So see, we have 2022. So these are more like data analysts. You trying to arrange your table. Yes. So we have rule of tables. So you can also check our learning platform to also see that. So our live scenarios, this is our revenue. Let me see. I can copy this. I should be able to paste it as a link here. So let me see my alt ES, and I need as a link, but it should be transposed. So E, okay. So if it's transposed, it cannot be linked. Okay, all right. So let's just do that manually. So equal to, at least for the purpose of what we want to do, you can always find a way to do this. But this, let's work with this. Equal to this, okay. Equal to this, which is more like our life. So our EBITDA, I'll just link that here. And the transpose formula, we can use transpose formula, but we want to create a data table. So might not really work, but something we can try on our own to kind of see that. Yes, but this one, let's even do it manually. I know this is not efficient. Yes, but let's work with it so that you understand what we need to do. Enter, then here. So this is what we have, and remember we have 10 scenarios. So let me create like this. Let me create one here. Let me create one here. Let me create two, and let me align it to the right. So here equal to this plus one. So we had 10 cases. 10 cases, 8, 9, 10. So now we have 10 cases here. So this is our cell that has where we wrote that scenario. In fact, let me make this open up so that we can see this for now. Okay, we need to go back and change it. Let's format that back here. So which is more like this is the cell that is controlling all this switch. This cell must not be deleted. Okay, I think this should supposed to be a formula. Why is it? What happened? Is it that we've deleted our formula? It's supposed to be a formula. What happened to our formula? Look like someone has stolen our formula. Looks like someone has stolen our formula. Okay, all right, but it should still work. So I'll just highlight from this my live scenario down here. Okay, yes, it's because of switch. That's why. Okay, yes, that's true. So I will highlight everything down here. I'll go straight to my data under my what if analysis, and I'll select my data table. What is my row inputs, which is 1? I'll select this cell that has that 1, and I'll click on what? I'll click on my OK and see what happened. See what happens. See what happens. See what we have. We're going to put this in a bracket so that you can see this. You can see this. So with this now, you have what you have. You can see almost everything. Different revenue that can come in year 2020 on all the scenario that we've created. Let me zoom this out for us. You can see that? Without you using your switch button, you can see everything. Different revenue you can get, different 10 revenues you can get for 2023, different net profits. In fact, to make this good, you can even use it to create a pivot table. Enter, go to your, let's create a blank Excel here, and let me paste everything or TSV. Then I want it as values and number format. Click OK. So I'll build a model for a client like this that wanted to raise different investment, that want to raise investments, but really not certain. And it was saying, oh, it depends on the contribution of the investor that would determine the dividends payout and everything. Like we have option. I just use this to create and just input to the what the person wants, and everything will work fine. So let me highlight this. Control T. Right. Oh, okay. No, let's insert. Let's go to insert and let's insert pivot table. So it should be in this. I want it in this same cell, in this same worksheet. You can decide to put it in another worksheet. Click on my OK, and you see what I have here. So I can always click on my what? My line item. So I don't want total. Let's remove this. No, we don't want subtotal. Do not show subtotal and do not show off total as well. Yes. So this for which period? Can select our period. Okay, no, we don't want. So you can see live case for scenario 1 on tick, scenario 2, see your output, and then in fact you can you can create graph to kind of make this look good, and these are wonderful things you can do with your Excel, with your in your modeling when you are doing that. So just remember. So remember, you can always you get the recording of this session so that you can also take a look at this. So you have 10 scenarios that can be viewed all at once and see different revenue where you make losses here and there, and you can work with everything or still decide to work with this switch. So thank you everyone. I hope you really enjoyed this webinar session.
Yes, well done, well done. This was very, very fast. I know a lot of people are asking if this video is available. Yes, it's going to be available. And if you go back a little bit back to the case study, let's just have a look at one or two more things that I can just add some points there. So if you see the scenario 1 to 10, what I typically do, right, because we will need that 1 to 10 to be able to run the sensitivity, I would usually hide that row 10, and then I'll have another similar row in row 9 where I will do an index so that the names of the scenario will actually show. Right? So the names of the scenario will actually show. I'll just do an index there, equals to index and index of the list, your L list, sorry, your list. I think you called it L underscore scenarios or so, comma, and then tab first, and then L scenarios, and then comma, the one at the bottom, the scenario number below. No, and there, yeah, and the scenario number below, yeah. Yes. So what will happen is it's actually a row, because you know your list is, so it's a row. You put you remove the comma. So comma U10, then no column. Yeah. Great. And then I just drag that right, and that way, yeah. Worst case. So ref, you have your L scenarios. No, it's not L scenarios. I think you call it L list. The list
L
something.
list. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I think yes.
Let's look at the name. L list. So importance of that naming range.
Yes.
Can be funny at
So
times.
when you're a modeler, you have to think about your users and make it as easy for your users as possible. But then that typically would mean that you would you need to S underscore list, I think you called it. Yes, comma, the value below, and then close bracket and drag right, yes. So, and then for the live scenario, you just need to pick what the current live scenario is. You do an equals to index as well. You just do an equals to index your list and your switch. That will give you your live scenario. And typically, yeah, so that will give you a live scenario equals to index your list and your switch. Whatever scenario has been picked would appear there. And then what you can do is also take the line item heading. You can just copy R10, S10, and T10 and bring it up to row 9. No, the heading. Maybe the heading.
It is
Yeah,
right.
copy it up, yeah, and then we can hide that row.
These parts. Okay. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, so we can hide. These are just some small tricks. So we just hide that row. You can even make it transparent, like the thing you did. And then, so typically, I think this is what we would see. And then when you pivot this, it will work as well. But this is great, and this can be expanded. You can make it a really mega scenario tool. And there's a video on our YouTube channel as well that has how to build a mega scenario and sensitivity tool. So thanks a lot, Victor. This was very, very great. Really good addition.